Hi, I'm Lee James. Welcome to Lessons in Jazz. Today we're going to hit upon something that you've probably seen many videos on the internet. And this one deals with John Coltrane's very famous giant steps, something every aspiring jazz musician has to learn. And for good reason, because it breaks rank with a lot of the songs that were being recorded at the time, what we now call the Great American Songbook, which follows that circle of fourths type pattern. And John Coltrane, famously trying to always find a new sound for himself, found it with giant steps. He worked many weeks on trying to break that pattern and find a new sound for his album of the same name, Giant Steps. And part of the reason is that even though there are some 5-1 progressions and some 2-5-1 progressions, the tonalities are shifting by tritone leaps, and that's what throws the player off. It doesn't follow any kind of sensical rhythm, but it actually does. And let me show you. Giant Steps actually holds 3 key centers: E flat, G, and B, which forms this nice little augmented triad. So let me demonstrate. Here's the chord, B, our opening chord, B major 7, 5-1 to G, there's G, 5-1 to E flat, there's our 3 key centers, B, G, and E flat. Next 4 bars, G, 5-1 to E flat, back to B. Those are, again, there we are, E flat, G, and B. That's the first 8 bars. The next 8 bars, series of 2-5-1s. E flat, 2-5-1, G, 2-5-1 to B, 2-5-1 back to E flat, and then we do a quickie to get us back to the beginning of the chart. Back to B. So even the second 8 bars, we have the same 3 key centers, E flat, G, and B natural. So what else can we see about this song, this beautiful composition that he made? Let's take a look at this one more time at a different way. Start on B. Now we go a tritone leap from the last chord, E flat, to A, to goodness, to G, wind up on B. Where do we go from here? Tritone. Down to F for the next series. From here, tritone, tritone again, tritone again, and then a little quickie. That's the chord progression, and that's kind of how he broke out of that circle of fourths cycle of writing songs. Use that old tritone because it throws us totally differently. It also breaks up our little patterns that we've been practicing and crashing on and shedding on all these years for getting around the 2-5-1s. That's going to be one of my next videos, so stay tuned. Now, let's talk about getting into giant steps, because it doesn't lend itself to traditional ways, like I said, following 2-5-1 progressions that we've all had to work on. The first chord is B flat major. There it is, with F sharp on top, and then another major 7, 13, another major 7, minor 9, major 7, major 7, 13, major 7. All right, in order to get around this, I say drop your major 7s, which would be one of our first inclinations, or sounds nice, but you know what? It's not hard-edged enough, and it starts to throw you off in order to get playing and get improvising on giant steps. So what do? We go with what we call the pentatonic type scale. Even that, if you want to do that. First 4 notes of the pentatonic scale. Next one, on the 5 chord, on the 1 chord, probably get rid of the major 7th there. On the 7 chord, all the way along we're not hitting any 7s, major 7s, dominant 7s, anything. on the second. Works wonderfully, and it gets you around. Now we've created one little riff just going up those 5 notes. I'm sorry, 1 through 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. So what's another one? Well, we're going up. Now we can go down. Let's see. So we're going to move up the scale, but we're going to go down instead of, we're going to go down the scale. Now we have, from the same pattern, 2 little riffs. Works marvelous, okay? We could also go spelling out the triad. Sounds kind of blasé, but you know, when you're playing it at 240 beats per minute, it's not too bad. Okay, same idea again, using the same pentatonic scale. We're just doing it with the octave. Now, we could also start on the third. 1, 5, 6 octave. Same pentatonic scale, we're starting on a different note. You get the idea here. So by simplifying the chord, simplifying the scale, you start to get yourself around giant steps, and it really starts to sound cool when you can do this. What's another one? We have use of the same pentatonics, but now instead of starting on the root tone of the progression, we're going to start on our B chord. And as we go to our D7 chord or D9 chord, we just drop down to this pentatonic scale. You can see it in the other camera. There's our G major chord, here's our B flat chord, B flat 7. And then here's our 1 chord on E flat. So we have this nice little progression, again using the 5-note pentatonic scale. Same, works marvelously for the next key as well. By the way, the first 4 bars and the second 4 bars are the same progression, just he starts on a different key, starts on G. So, this is why when you analyze giant steps, you find out that it's what I like to call the perfect composition. In 16 bars, he does miraculous things that have confounded jazz players for 50, 60 years, 70 years, however old that song is. What is it, 1958? You guys do the math. All right, so let's do a review of that again. Now we're going to do that pentatonic scale coming down. And that takes us through the first 8 bars. Marvelous. What do you do for the second 8 bars? Well, you can fall back onto your tried and true 2-5-1 exercises that, of course, you've all been doing and you've all got down. So, simple ones, or like you've been hearing me do already. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into that, but you get the idea here. The other thing to stay away from are what we like to call the chromatic dominance, where when you do a 2-5-1 sequence, you're inclined to go move into the 1 chord chromatically on that flat 9 progression. Same. That's an A flat going into G. Okay? That's for an advanced part of learning to get into jazz, into giant steps, because it will start to distract you and take away from some of your fluidity. Because the tone centers on the second 8 bars are moving by tritone leaps, you find yourself winding up on the wrong key or starting on the wrong key for the next 2-5-1 progression. So stick with more simpler ideas that stick with the 2 mode, the 5 mode, and the 1 mode before you start getting into chromatic dominance, because it will start to throw, take it from me, it will start to throw you off. Stay away from chromaticism too. It's really just kind of going. And it sounds really cool, man. Wow, he's really hip. He's going outside. No, you're just fooling yourself, and you're fooling the listener, and you're going to fool experienced jazz players like me going, well, the guy's just going through chromatics, all right? It's maybe a little something to pull out of your bag of tricks, but it's really nothing when you have to shed on giant steps and really get it down and really get it under your fingers. When I was doing this back in college, I had my notebook out, and every little idea I came up with, I wrote them down. And I came up with 2 pages of ideas, probably about 25 ideas. One day I might publish it into a book. Y'all can buy it. I had players in my class going, hey man, can I get a copy of that? And I said, no. You do your work just like I did my work. And that's a big part of getting around giant steps. The ultimate piece that gives you freedom when it comes to everything composed and recorded after that. This is Lee James for Lessons in Jazz. Thanks for viewing.